Today on Sodcast, we're honored to welcome Joe Jackson, CGM, the longtime Director of Grounds and Sanitation Services at Duke University. Over more than 2 decades, Joe guided Duke through major environmental challenges, leading drought-tolerant landscaping initiatives, irrigation reduction strategies, and sustainable grounds practices that set a new standard for campus resilience. He also strengthened Duke's landscape standards through improved appearance, staff training, and continuous improvement programs. Joe's national impact is equally notable. As 2011 president of PGMS, he advanced professional standards across the industry, elevated member recognition programs, and later helped expand the PGMS Landscape Management and Operations Accreditation program, supporting institutions such as the University of Delaware and Penn State in achieving accreditation. His dedication earned him one of Duke's highest honors, the Algernon Sydney Sullivan Award, 2005, recognizing exceptional character, service, and community impact. From sustainability to leadership, community engagement to operational excellence, Joe Jackson has shaped both Duke University and the national grounds industry into models of stewardship and high-performance management. And as always, we talk turf, and you grow the results. Let's join the conversation with Kevin and Joe as they help homeowners improve their lawns. Provide your feedback on BizChat.
Joe, I am so honored to have you on Shotcast today. Thank you for joining us.
Kevin, it's a tremendous pleasure to be on your podcast. I think this is a wonderful way that you are a mechanism you're using to touch individuals that need some assistance, that want some assistance, that are thriving to find out more and more about how they can make their immediate environments, more pleasurable. And I appreciate you doing this. I think that's a very, very nice and generous introduction.
Well, thank you, Joe. I mean, we're so honored to have a true pioneer and legend like yourself here on this program. And I'm very, very honored to have you. Can you tell the homeowners out there a little bit about yourself, Joe, besides all these wonderful things I just mentioned about you?
Well, I don't know much. I don't know if I can add anything to that. I tell you, you did your homework. There are some things I have forgotten about in that intro, so I appreciate that. But I tell you now, right now, I'm currently working in a semi-retired sort of status.
Yeah.
If that really could ever be achieved. But I'm basically doing work now just for a select clientele. And the work that I'm doing now is sort of a culmination of the work that I've done in the past. So for the past 40 years, leading up to now, in this semi-retired status, I've been in the business of natural resource management, in a variety of different ways. As you so amply stated, some of the things that I've done in my past. But currently, what I'm doing with this background now, that includes a couple of things that I would say too. I was a registered landscape architect and a
Wow.
facilities manager for 25 years. And of course, as you stated, I was a certified grounds manager with the PGMS. And now I'm consulting again this select clientele in the area of natural resource management. And that's been going on for about 10 years. So with that little, I guess, footnote to what you've already said, that's it, Kevin. So that is my background.
Well, that's awesome. And those clientele you have, that select clientele you have, are very lucky to have you. Can you tell the homeowners out there, how'd you get into this business, Joe? Like, how'd you find your passion? Because honestly, and I know I say this a lot in other interviews with other professionals, but Joe, you have taught me so much through things you were belonged to, things that you were so involved with the Professional Grounds Management Society, like the accreditation and even the certified grounds management.
Right.
You are so valuable to that. Can you tell the homeowners out there, how did you find this passion? How did you combine the business and the grounds management together? Because you are so I mean, you have taught us, not just me, but so many other great grounds managers so much. Can you tell us how you found your passion for that?
Well, I tell you, probably, I think I sort of had a little bit of the passion there to pull from the early stage of my life. I've always enjoyed being outdoors and not just outdoors playing around, but outdoors and observing things and trying to figure out why things looked a certain way, whether it was animals or plants. How do they function in the environment? What relationship, I thought that I had with those different things that I was witnessing. So I had that, I think, given to me early on. But the thing that really sort of got me serious about that love for the outdoors and working with nature in as much a compatible way as I possibly could, or came about after starting my undergrad years, which took place at the University of Wisconsin in Madison,
Oh,
when I lucked into a program called landscape architecture. Um, but in that discipline, while I was in college, I also had an opportunity to work at did some summer work at one of the largest nurseries and garden centers in southern Wisconsin, and I did that for 3 years in the summertime while I was attending school. That locked it in for me, just walking around and talking with people coming in to buy plants and with problems. And I just did a lot of reading to assist folks and got to understand some of the needs of the homeowners and some of the things that this place that I worked at provided for them. Had a good owner of the place. It was a father-son outfit actually, but they sort of took me under their wings too, and told me and showed me things that were a little bit different from what was in the books,
yeah,
and some practicality of doing things. That really crystallized it a little bit for me too.
yeah.
Um, what took me to the Professional Grounds Management Society, I will tell you this, while I was at Duke, um, the years that I spent there working as a facilities manager, I had actually put together a training program that I had to take to the director that I was working for at the time, and to justify what avenue I would take that the university would foot the bill for. So I looked at two organizations, and one was ALPA, is the
Yeah.
A is APPA is their acronym, and it is basically a trade organization for grounds managers. Heavy focus on build the buildings themselves and the infrastructures of the buildings. Had a small piece of it that dealt with grounds, but that wasn't a focus of Alpha, in my estimation. The other organization was the Professional Grounds Management Society.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell you, Kevin, the first conference that I went to in Louisville, it wasn't in Louisville at that time. Um, oh boy. It was in Tampa. That's right. The first one
Oh,
I think I went to. And I saw all these guys, they were all talking about grounds management specifically, or campus management, and it was like music to my ears. It wasn't like a sidebar situation like with some other organizations. It was the main focus.
yeah.
So I meet people like you, with your background and then folks, when we talked, it was spot on with me about those kinds of things that appeal to me relative to taking care of those natural resources outdoors on the ground for people to enjoy,
Yeah.
from turf to shrubbery to flowers, all the different levels. So that really, that sort of is a little snapshot of from my early years of loving outdoors through the formal training at the University of Wisconsin to the practical work at a large nursery and into Duke Facilities Department.
Yeah. Well, Joe, you bleed professionalism. I mean, you visit my campus, you have taught me a world of knowledge and made me a better professional, made me a better person into the industry. What advice can you pass on to homeowners um, that you have learned throughout your career that
Okay.
can benefit them?
Well, I tell you, this is going to get to the nitty gritty here. There are
Let's
three
go.
things I can think of right away. I think what I would suggest to the average homeowner, and the scale or the scope of the work, it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's 20 square feet or 20,000 square feet. I think the thing that I found to be very critical, three things. One is to make sure you understand, have a familiarity with the hardiness zone that you live in. And to know what type of grasses
Yeah.
you have to deal with, whether you're dealing with in your climate, in your area,
Yeah.
warm season grasses, cool season grasses, or you're in a transitional zone. I
Yeah.
think that's very critical. The other thing that I would say is that the homeowner, if you really want to have success, on things that you want to build on, have a strong foundation. I don't think you can get any stronger than having good soils.
Yeah.
To have an understanding and appreciation of your soils,
Yes.
and they're different from certainly from the fields of Wisconsin down to the fields of South Carolina or North Carolina, and certainly in the Midwest in Ohio, and quite different in Texas and further west. So to have an idea of what soils you're dealing with and what those soils can support and what hardiness is on. I would also say to the homeowner, the thing that has been so beneficial to me is that if you have an agricultural extension agency or a service with the state that you're in, touch base with them.
Yes,
Get a
sir.
lot of knowledge, local stuff for your environment. You can't put a dollar amount on it. But then again, you can because you pay for
That's right.
that's a public service. It's free. So if you do have, if you're fortunate to have an extension office or agency close by, touch base with them. Those three things I think it would be high on my list for a homeowner to understand.
Joe, that is so well said. I mean, I have many guests here, and that is just perfectly said and well said. And that is great advice, homeowners. Please listen to Joe here, what he's talking about. Joe, I ask this question a lot to a lot of guests here that come on the podcast. And tell me a time that you were humbled that homeowners can learn from.
You try to forget those kinds of times.
I know, I know, I know. I
I
could
want
talk
to
to
say
you about that to
there's
6 in the morning about all my failures, man, but I know you don't have that many. But
oh, yes, I do. I don't think you can get to that level of success that you want in most things unless you make mistakes.
yes,
And you
sir.
just have to be willing to try and just keep you learn from the mistakes, though.
Yes, sir.
But I tell you, probably, Kevin, and it relates to one of the answers to this last some of the answer that I gave to you to the last question. Um, and it relates to understanding what the what location you're at,
Yes, sir.
the do's and don'ts relative to landscaping, to having a good turf situation. And that's understanding what can do well and what probably shouldn't be touched
Yeah,
in
yeah.
some areas. I had an experience with well, when I first finished school, and with at that time I had very limited true practical knowledge, but I was full of book knowledge, and I just knew I was on the top of my game when I came out of school
Yes, sir.
from Wisconsin, and I was born and raised in North Carolina. So I returned back home with all this great knowledge I had from the books, from the nursery, the garden center I worked, from everything up in that particular area. And I was my first residential design project, and it was a holistic little project. It wasn't a large house, but it was a place where I thought I could apply my knowledge of all this I got back to my little world in North Carolina. The unfortunate thing about it, the trees and the plants and even the grasses that I had learned and had thought I didn't had could design into these wonderful spaces. I thought I could do the same thing in North Carolina to this first client. I mean, real client. So I put a plan together for it. It was pretty on paper,
Yes, sir.
and the owners liked it. I'm pretty sure they were from north the northeast of the country, so they
Yeah.
were in tune with most of the plant materials and the soils, the grasses that I was talking to them about. And they were okay with the plan I put together. And I tell you,
Yeah, because they trusted you. I get
they
it.
trusted me.
Yes, sir.
But then I went and they wanted me to get some quotes for them from some of the local suppliers. And here again, I walked in with my list of materials. And the first, I remember the guy that I went to, a pretty nice retailer, he looked at me like I was crazy. He said, this is not going to work here.
Yeah,
And I'd say, I'm telling myself this, this guy, he's old school,
yeah.
I know this will work. So I told the guy, I said, look, you give me a price on this, you get the plants, I know you can get them. I can tell you where you can get some of these plants if you don't have them locally here in your fields. I mean, I went through the whole spiel like I knew it, and I guess he just said, well, I'll take his money if he wants to do this. And it was plants. And I'm not gonna get all into the detail. I don't remember all of it now, but I know I put
Yes, sir.
some trees. It was very the turf area was all blue that I spec'd out. Was all
Oh,
blue grasses. The tree species were heavily Gladitsia, a honey locust species. And I remember the palette of shrubs were primarily evergreen shrubs. We used taxa species.
yes.
The three of those that's the different layers, and there was all kinds of plants in there. Weren't the best for a zone, again, a hardiness zone in North Carolina, which is 8A and a B as
I was going to ask you
and
that,
then,
and yeah, I was going
and
to ask
then
you that, and real quick,
and,
Joe, I don't mean to interrupt, but what
yeah.
Joe is talking about is the
Oh,
USDA growing zones, and this is very important information. Understand what zone you're living in, and understand the plant and turf grass selections you need to, incorporate into your zones. But go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
no, you did. You slowed me down. I had my head over my skis a little bit there with that,
It's
and I
okay.
appreciate you saying that and
Yes,
saying
sir.
explaining what that was. Wisconsin's hardiness zone for the plants that I was accustomed to and had learned was 5. I mean, it was 5A and B in Madison, Wisconsin. There's a big difference between a 5 and an 8.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
the plants live for a while, and as a matter of fact, I often see now that I'm back in North Carolina, I've talked with that same person that planted stuff for them. Most of it didn't work well, and we can joke about it a little bit now. But
Yes,
it
sir.
was it just reinforced in my mind the importance of knowing your local area, trusting people that do and have worked and that are reputable in that area to give you some assistance. And don't think you know it all. And that taught me early on. Make sure, again, what I'm saying now and suggesting that I can say it from experience, and I
Yes,
would
sir.
encourage any homeowner to take that to heart.
Yes, sir. And let me add, homeowners, Joe is a really good professional. And I'm just not just saying this. He has taught me a lot about, the business that, in the grounds industry and about how to be a better professional. And he has not just me, but he has taught so many in some very prestigious institutions. Joe, do you have anything you'd like to add that I might have forgot for the homeowners out there?
Well, maybe, well, this is again something to consider. And I
Yes,
think
sir.
that, again, it's something that has helped me not only in my professional growth, but my personal growth, and my own property, on my own house, and things that I do in the neighborhood, in my community. I would suggest that if you really have the time to do it, maybe think about volunteering time at a botanical garden, or some arboretum,
Yes.
and even joining a local flower club.
Or even
You
like
can
a master
gain
gardener.
Master Garden program. You can learn a lot. And
Yes,
I'm
sir.
telling you, no matter how many books and how many articles you've read, how many things you've seen on TV or any kind of place, on some other podcast, not this one, but some podcast saying that, this is what you need for the green thumb.
Yes, sir.
What you really need is to get out there, and like I said, maybe volunteer some time in a place that has plants, and have people around you talking about what can work and what can't work, and where you can just put your hands on stuff and feel things. I think that's a good thing to do. And I think I would encourage everyone that's listening, all of your listeners, to understand how important it is to be aware of your carbon footprint. Whatever you do around your house, around your property, think about the impact that it has on the environment. Try to use as little chemicals as you can with your turf. Only what you need. Make sure you can calculate exactly what you really need, and don't go to the extreme with that kind of stuff. Just be mindful of the fact that we certainly want the beauty that we all enjoy today, and what we're trying to assist today in our efforts to be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that, as you do anything, I think, around your homes.
Yeah. Joe, thank you so much. And to the homeowners out there, you just learned about 40 years experience in about 11 minutes. And Joe, I'm so, so honored to have you here on the Sidecast. Remember, folks, we talk turf, you grow the results. Thank you for listening. And Joe, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been my pleasure, Kevin. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joe. It's been an honor having you on today's episode. Your leadership, your dedication to professional excellence, and your lifelong commitment to community service have made a lasting mark on our industry. Thank you for sharing your experience and for continuing to elevate the standards of grounds management across the country. And as always, we talk turf and you grow the results.